Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. It is Block Wednesday, Grandma's Kitchen. Did you have a guess maybe of what the theme might be? Those of you who did not go and look at when we did this years and years ago. It is the recipe box. So many of you have very fond memories of recipes from your grandma, maybe your great grandma, aunties. My family, there's no recipes. There's no recipe box. There's no recipes. This is the block again, and you're doing two of those, one on top of the other. Yeah, they just were not great cooks. I don't think either of my grandmothers liked to cook. My great grandmothers did super basic stuff that I can remember. Nothing spectacular ever. My aunt that I saw most often, and she cooks, but there's no recipes. So the only recipes I have are the ones that I accumulated when I first got out on my own, and I ended up a couple times working in at companies where my particular departments were foodies. Way before the word foodies even existed, we were hardcore foodies. We would have buffets, people would bring stuff, we would exchange recipes, we would talk about food and making food, buying food, stuff to make food. I mean, it was just like constant, particularly when I worked at Anheuser-Busch in their computer department, because I was in computers. I have never seen such a foodie group, thinking back, never in another place. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. So all the recipes that I kind of have are from that time frame of when I was probably in my 20s and 30s, when I really was hanging around with a lot of people who loved to cook. Okay, so recipe box. It is bunch of sew and flips on to make these kind of big double or accented half square triangles. And then I did a little option fun in case you want to maybe make a little table runner. You could do multiples of these, and there's just an idea of how you can twist and turn the shapes. With only 4 of them, you don't get as much that you can do, but you could do this. Here's just a different coloration. You could do this with just, 2 sets, which is what the block has, the 2 sets just here. Here's one that's kind of a pinwheel. So you can see the differences. Okay, I need to figure out some fabric colors. So let's just take a look with the other camera. First, the block day. That one is going up here, the scraps. I'm like sewing like the little pieces. Well, they're not real little, but some of them are. I'm sewing them together as a long strip to use in the back. Okay, here we are. Before we do the block that goes right here, the recipe box. And I've got to maybe bring some of this kind of peach down here. I think that would be good. And maybe some of the aqua and maybe the yellow. Maybe I'll pop the yellow back in here again. So let's look at the fabric now. I could do aqua and the yellow and peach. Let's look. I'm going to go with the peach, the teal, and a pop of green. Pop of yellow, the yellow. Got to get that yellow back in there. So let's look at what I have here. Being that these are kind of just large half square triangles, I think I've got 2 shades of teal, the lighter or the darker, and then the yellow will definitely be in this center part, because it's kind of an intense yellow, and so I do not want a ton of it. Now the background here, I'm going to do the background in peach. So up here, I have 3 peach options I pulled versus the more orange color for this line. And I originally did this. I laid this out. I kind of went like this, for the 3 of them. And you can fold them too if you want. You could fold these in kind of like half square triangles like that, so that you could see how they're going to look with a little yellow pop. But I think that's a little bland. It's a little bland. So I do have this, which is got a whole lot of colors on it. And then I thought, well, maybe I would just use that for the other half of the half square triangles, and then the yellow down below. Let's see if we can kind of mock that up there, kind of like this, which would give me a lot of different scale in what I'm doing, and I think I really like that. So this is what I'm going to do. You're doing 2 large squares from the background and then the middle, and then 4 of the smaller squares for at the point. And these are large. They're very large. That is right. And if you want to see the block made, my friend Kendall will be doing that on his YouTube channel, and the link is in the description box below, in the pinned post, and at my article today. So you're going from the big half square triangle, and then you will be putting these smaller ones, these sew and flips right here, like this. And then this one happens to be in the sewing machine right now, and I realized, well, I'll just show you this. So here you go. That's where you are, and then we'll sew the 4 together. While working on these blocks, I decided to sew. I had to change bobbins. So I thought, well, what I got up there? I've got like 3 bobbins that are very little on it. So I'm going to sew all these 3 down with building these March blocks. The recipe box, the treasured recipes, family recipes, looks so good. It's more intense because I use a big, a more personality background. If you're going to use your background fabric in here, then probably these 2 units would be really popping off of that because it's, probably a tonal or a light. But I wanted to do something different for this one. I do have quite a bit of the background in the blocks around down in that area. And one of my goals is to not use background all the time for these blocks. So that really fits the key here. I like the floral because that is the biggest section that you see is this background section. That's the most fabric that you're going to see in this block. Let me put it up on the wall, see how they look together. I love it. Look at that. It has a lot of personality, which is great. So we have next week this block. Then I can sew. You can sew also your rows, which means after we do next week's block for here, I'll start thinking about sashing. I've not thought about it at all yet. So before I filmed the first part here where we talked about the grandma's kitchen block, I had the block of the day up there. Look at them. All 5 of them across, right? Is it 5? Right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I had a brain freeze there. Yeah, 5 of them across. And let me just show you a little bit of organizational stuff that I walked through with myself the other day or the other night. So here we go. Well, I'm not a big cut a lot of things in advance kind of a person. This is not how I worked. But with the March block, I've got this stuff, piled up, the different colors, and then I started cutting other ones. I've got 3 of them cut, and I started realizing I might need to add another pink and another blue to just give me a little better variety. And so I sort of stopped and thought, okay, what is a better plan here? They're all 2.5-inch strips. The center, I've already got all those cut. The other thing I realized is that the light here, they're the exact same size. And I've already cut a few of them. So I thought, okay, I can cut the rest of the light, these 2 lights from the three from the 3 different fabrics. I can cut all, I can even add a 4th one if I want, but I may or may not. But anyways, I can cut all those because they're all the same. I decided I'm alternating kind of the pinks. I'm considering this blue right now for this block, the pinks and the blues. Sometimes the pinks are in here, sometimes the pinks are out here. So the other thing I realized is that I was cutting some of them, and I realized it is going to be more efficient for me to just cut a bunch of strips. Whoops, that was short. I was trying to pull one that was a long strip. Okay, you get the idea. But I can just cut a bunch of the strips and keep all of those kind of on the side for the fabrics. Then I can put this bulky stuff over in a bin. And if I've run out, I need the, maybe I'll say to myself, okay, I need a bit more of this. I've cut the strips, but I don't have any more strips. I don't want to cut too many because I don't want to have excessive strips, but I'll cut several strips. Then I can work off of those for the blocks. And then once I need more strips, I can cut a few more. And I might even then be able to say, okay, I've only got, 10 more blocks, and each one of these is only going to be used twice or once or whatever it is. I can figure that out a little bit, but for now I can just go ahead and cut a couple of strips from each of the fabrics, a 2.5 inch strip, and then make it work. The other thing I'm going to do is some of them I'm going to sew the pieces together. And so there'll be seams, which I don't care. That's what this kind of a quilt is. But I want to use this up. I don't want to say, oh, this is just a little bit too short. I'll make it longer, because if I have pink in this spot, they're smaller. Pink in this spot, they're longer, right? So, and they're going in both places. Makes it so fun and exciting. So that's what I'm going to do. I also went through on here and did a tentative blue pink. Made myself some little notes. Blue pink for the sort of boxes, because that's appealing to me. Oh, I've been using this guy too. This guy here, they're kind of fun. It's kind of fun. It's small, so what's really nice, I mean, I can't put a lot of fabrics like I can like on the stands that I normally use, but when I can just put one piece of fabric in here on the stand, and it's just nice to have it vertical, plus it gives me more space on the tabletop, right? So your tabletop is not got a big piece of fabric, a big piece of paper laying here. It's, of course, I could use a second one or one of the trays now, because I actually have 2 pieces of fabric I'm working with. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all this stack, cut some strips. I already have lights cut. They already have 3 sets. I may go ahead and just find a 4th fabric, just to give it a teeny bit more variety, because these 2 are really similar, but I don't want that light to be a real focus, because as you can see up there, see how the light works? That works up there. That's the effect I want. I don't want to be looking up there and seeing pattern in there. I want it to stay, so maybe I'll just stay like this, because I think I might have focus, cut all of this, because this will be my primary. All right, so that's the plan for the block a day. So first I went ahead and got strips cut and put this all in here so that I can go put it on the shelf. And then I'm using these design boards, and I'm hoping I can pick them up easily. These are from the Fat Quarter Shop, these boards, and I've seen Kimberly do this with her blocks, stack them. So I'm thinking, because the back is not fuzzy, the back is there, see, it's like, board, whatever kind of styrofoam board, that they're not going to stick. I might have to just be careful, because this isn't like the block laid out, it's just strips. So I've got these cut, and then the white. For these 2 fabrics, they are really directional, and I'm trying to have the side go this way and then the other side go that way. Same here, up and horizontal. So I am just leaving them here so that when I do them, I can cut them very specifically. But everything else, I've got strips. And I'm not going to worry. These are slightly directional. This is slightly directional, but I'm just going with it. I don't want to have to deal with it. With figuring out the directional of it. It has a little bit of a vertical to me, but I'm like, I'm just doing it, I'm sewing it. And then, of course, you saw these before, which are all the centers. So all the centers are done, all of these white strips are done, and now I have these working strips and the 2 that I have to fussy cut. So I can just sort of get the blocks going and not have to always pull out this whole big thing and have all that sitting out here. So I think this will work okay. I think it'll be fine. I think that's going to work out. I don't like that it lays out on the counter like that, but you know, that's what I'm going to do for March. Just and I won't be, and I'll finish it before the end of March. And I will sew this up. I'm going to sew those 5 across. I am working very specifically to position like I have on that chart. So I won't be rearranging blocks. I will be sewing row at a time as soon as that row is done. And it is what it is. That's the deal. Okay, I do want to show you some things that a company sent me. Richard, the owner of, what's this company called? S.A. Richards, Inc. Mr. Richard, that's actually Richard's his first name. Richard contacted me and said he had a couple products and maybe I'd like to take a look at them. So here are 2 of them. One is he has a design board that has a, what do you call it? A back thing so that you can, let me just switch it around. So you see, so a stand, there we go, a stand. And this is like corrugated, it's real firm and sturdy. Also, the cool thing is that this is something that can be removed. So it is a cloth, it is like a terry cloth material, and you can take it off to clean it and put it back on, which is kind of cool because for some of us, the amount of threads that might accumulate on something with fleece or batting is, and you can't really get them all off that well. You'll be able to get it off a lot easier on here. And I do kind of like having a stand that's up. Now I do have other stands I can put those other pieces in and stand vertical. But this is pretty nice, and I do like the fact that it can be removed. So there is one of the next blocks I need to sew. The other thing he sent me, which I thought was really cool, he has a couple of different pattern stands. And this one, which is got a magnifier. So I've got the actual like list of cross stitch stuff behind here, but this magnifier, it is plastic, so it's not going to break or anything like that. They do give you a super heavy duty plastic bag to put this in. It also has another magnetic board that comes along with the one with the magnet. They also make them without the magnet, but this piece is what is behind. So it is a stand that has some little arms that can go in front to hold your piece. There's also an elastic back here, which I didn't put it in, so you can see that. So it has a lot of different options, but I really like the the magnifier part. And I know there's a lot of different products out there for people, but this could work with a pattern, you know, that's for quilting. Doesn't have to be cross stitch, could be your knitting, but the magnifier is very cool and it's very flexible for use. Okay, so those are 2, and the Fat Quarter Shop carries those, so I'm going to link you over to them with the with the link. Okay, let's do a little parade of your blocks from last week. Beth starts us off with a attic window, a window from her grandma's kitchen, and her grandma had hollyhocks, so this is a tribute to that. Cindy's, look how fun this is. You guys have done so many fun images out your window. Look at the little kitty sitting there, so darling. Here is Karen's block. Her grandmother was born on the 4th of July, although they learned at her funeral she was actually born a few minutes before the 4th of July. So there you go, a tribute. And this is a Karen number 2, and this is a tribute to her grandparents' home, which was a 99-acre farm in rural Canada. Look how beautiful that fabric is that she found. My friend Kendall is doing his blocks in such yummy colors over on his YouTube channel, so you'll want to go over there and check it out. Kim, look at the chickens. Oh my gosh. Chickens and flowers out her grandma's window. So fun. Our ambassador, Laura. Oh, this is so pretty. Love the bluebird. I have one of those little bluebirds. If you have one of those little bluebirds, those glass bluebirds, put a note in the comments here at YouTube. And Laura number 2, pretty in pink. Gorgeous block. Love it. Linda said that her grandma had a beautiful pear tree out the kitchen window, and she found some fun goldfish fabric for her block. I love the sashing, the windowsill fabrics too. They are really cool. Loretta said that she wanted to use this fabric of the ladies in her quilt because her grandma loved people. Ah, that is darling. And I know those ladies are Tilda fabric. I have, somebody sent me a piece of that. And so if you are looking, I think it's an older line. My friend Melissa, who is one of the ambassadors that helps out here, look at her beautiful block. Love that strong contrast to get the windowsill effect. Let's see, we have Mildred, and she said that outdoor is where she wanted to depict of the Poconos. The Poconos, out because they vacation there a lot. Look at that. That is cool fabric. You guys have such fun fabrics. Pamela said her grandma had beautiful flowers out the window. That is some gorgeous rose fabric. Holy cow. Love it. Rachel went the extra mile. She put curtains on her window. That is fantastic. It is fantastic. And she doubled the sill, the vertical and the horizontal a bit. That looks like she did that with her own fabric and not that it was a shaded fabric. Roberta's also depicted the family farm, and she had a beautiful story about all her inspiration for working on this quilt. Thank you for sharing that. Sandra, her grandma had a rose trellis out the window, so she found rose fabric. Look how perfect that is in the yellow and green. My friend Suzanne, who is also one of our ambassadors, this is the view out her grandparents' window, and they had a vegetable patch. So she's got sort of sunshine and flowers. It's so sweet. Okay, what crazy fabric. Look at this, clouds. This is from Teresa, and she said the green measuring cup, that green, the little glass basket and the green cup, she says that is signed on the bottom 1917, and her grandma signed it. You know, put that date on there. How cool to have that. Tyla, her grandma's phrase was to tell the kids to go out and play, and then they would keep track of them by looking out the window. So she put the kids out the window in her window block. Vicky, beautiful, beautiful flowers. I love it. And then we wrap up with mine. Again, thank you everybody for sharing your gorgeous blocks. While I'm up, let me show you the row for March block a day. Here we go. Here we go. Ta-da! Look at that. I'm excited. Look at that. Oh, gosh, it's long. Okay, so this is that's how wide the quilt will be, and it'll be one block longer than this, because it'll be one row more. So that'll give you a size picture. Okay, we are the recipe box. And if you want to share a story about your recipes, then do that. If it's just the recipes, do that here at YouTube in the comment, or over at my Fireside Chat group. You can share pictures of your recipe boxes, pictures of cherished family recipes. Do that over in that group. All right, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.